When I made my video yesterday talking about the inevitable sequel that we will be getting for Nier Automata, I did not think that when I made a Evangelion reference in the thumbnail and in my pinned comment and in the description of the damn video that this was actually going to be a real thing within the next 24 hours. I basically put the phrase, this cannot continue. Now, you know, it was me, again, trying to be clever, do a triple entendre, right? The third little layer that I put on it was, of course, the not part where it's in brackets, because that was meant to be the reference to Evangelion. Now, the reason why I did this, for anyone who doesn't know, is because Yoko Taro was heavily inspired by Evangelion when he made the Drakengard ending E, which is the ending that birthed Nier. So I did that as me just trying to kind of, you know, put a little extra flavoring to the title, the thumbnail, and, you know, whatever, right? Add to the theme of the whole video. At this point, I might as well just change my name to NextGenProphet. I mean, it's to the point now where I'm unconsciously and accidentally predicting things. This is ridiculous. All right, let me stop blowing some smoke up my ass, okay? Because this isn't all about me. I just wanted to point that out because I thought it was crazy. Now, I probably would have made a video about this anyway. It's just extra crazy because of that context to do with my video from yesterday. But with that aside, let's actually talk about this Evangelion show a little bit because it is going to be quite interesting. So I got this article from Screen Rant because I think they had one of the better ones, so we're just going to go over some of the things that stood out to me in what they wrote. So basically, for anyone who doesn't know, Evangelion just celebrated its 30th anniversary. Now, when it celebrated the 30th anniversary this weekend, it was more of a commemorative event, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, the actual 30th anniversary for Evangelion was last year. I believe probably about October 3rd, 4th, something like that. I know that because I know the show aired in 1995, so it's definitely not, yeah, it says it right here, 1995, there you go. So yeah, so it definitely was a commemorative event, not the actual 30th anniversary, because that would be insane if the 30th anniversary was at the same exact time as the 10th anniversary for Nier Automata. But it's still crazy regardless, because today, when this announcement was made, February 23rd, this is the 10th anniversary of Nier Automata. So it's crazy that on the 10th anniversary for Nier, we got a Yoko Taro surprise, but for a completely different franchise. I'm almost convinced that Taro and Anno had a little conversation, you know, and Taro was just like, look man, it's the 10th anniversary of my masterpiece, like, let me get a little sign here, you know what I mean? And I feel like that might have been what happened. So basically, at this 30th anniversary event in Japan, they had a screening of a new short series that basically gave the perspective of Asuka during the third impact. The part that was a big surprise that I'm going to be talking about was that it was revealed that there's going to be a new entry in the franchise that's currently in production, spearheaded by Kara and Cloverworks. And of course, the extra sprinkling on top is that Yoko Taro, the visionary creator behind Drakengard, the Nier, and NextGenNovelist, and Voice of Cards, and, you know, well, he is going to be at the head of this. So one thing that they mentioned here that I thought was quite cool was how they point out how thematically and stylistically Taro's work has always been spiritually connected to Evangelion, and it is. Now, I must have missed this or just completely forgotten, but I didn't know this, but apparently Taro humbly stated, "The work I was most inspired by is Neon Genesis Evangelion. I thank you for praising Nier Automata's story, but actually it's pretty much just a retelling of Evangelion. So there isn't much originality to it. I don't really watch modern movies, so I'm most inspired by memories of works I saw in the past." Now, when I read this, because this is actually my first time seeing this, even though it's a couple years old now, I just read this and I was like, this guy is sitting here talking about it's just a retelling of Evangelion. No. I mean, okay, look, you can say it's from the word of God. I shouldn't be arguing with the author of it, but come on now. Like, this is definitely Taro just trying to downplay his own originality. Like, for sure, he's got his own thing going on, we all know this, but you know, he obviously looks up to Anno, and I'm sure he's extremely humbled by the fact he's able to work on a series that inspired him so much. But the funny thing is that the following statement that they made is actually more of what I would think as well, which is that despite his sentiments, fans of Taro's work might point to the Drakengard games as having clearer similarities to Evangelion, which is exactly what I would say. Especially with ending E, I could immediately see it. And in fact, for me, I actually got into Evangelion because of Drakengard, because when I had seen that Taro had cited it as one of the main inspirations for him, I was like, oh, interesting. I'd always have heard of Evangelion, I knew of it, I knew about Rei Ayanami and I knew about Shinji, but I didn't really know the storyline. So I was like, okay, maybe it's time. You know, everyone says it's a classic, they say it's a must watch, so let me check it out. And I ended up falling in love with it. I ended up falling in love with it because just like with Drakengard and a lot of Taro's work, it just has that unhinged, crazy sort of aspect to it that I just love in a lot of fiction now. And you know, they say here that given the similarities between the stories and the clear inspiration Yoko Taro has taken from the series, there may be no better person to help usher in a new era for the Evangelion franchise, and I completely agree. I do think the best thing a creator can do if they're going to hand over their child, their baby basically, to someone else, it is usually going to be someone that respects what they created to the point where they really get it and they understand it. The good thing here is that this new Evangelion series is definitely going to get people watching it that don't even watch Evangelion. It's also going to bring in a new bunch of people who are going to watch the actual original show and the movies like End of Evangelion, because they're going to want to see how it might link up with this new series from Taro. So it also gives Anno's work a lot more attention, even though he already had a lot of attention and he's definitely, you know, considered one of the greats. But at the end of the day, this is just more eyeballs and it's more people who are going to be interested, right? And that's why, you know, like here where they talk about fans and how they're going to be attached to the mysterious lore and they're going to obviously want people to respect what Anno has created, you know, and this here to do with how he famously battled with mental health struggles throughout the creation of Evangelion and how those struggles are clearly expressed throughout the events of the series. You know, this is a very good point because during the original show, you know, you can definitely tell that the further into the show it went, things were getting a lot more unhinged and quite depressing, and supposedly it's documented that the reasoning behind a lot of that was because of Anno actually himself going through a lot more stuff as the show was going on. So it makes a lot of sense, and I can see how that sort of synergy between the creator and the creation has kind of given Evangelion a sort of unique flavor that a lot of the fans have always appreciated. So with Taro, it's going to be interesting because he's going to be coming at it from a bit of a different sort of point of view. I mean, I don't know if he's mentally all there. I'm not sure if he's having any mental struggles, but I know for damn sure his characters certainly are after all the shit he puts them through. I know that. But yeah, I mean, in this article, they don't actually mention it here, but one final thing that I would actually like to point out myself is that it is confirmed that Keiichi Okabe is going to be doing the music for this new Evangelion series. Now, for me, that is a big deal because I personally feel like Nier has got the greatest soundtrack, and I'm talking about both the Nier games of all time. I am pretty confident, if nothing else, we're going to for sure get at least a few banger tracks from Okabe, so we at least have that to look forward to, if nothing else. Personally, I'm looking forward to the entire thing. But yeah, this is just turning out to be a crazy year for media, man. Like, they just keep announcing things. I mean, they announced Castlevania's coming back. I mean, Dot Hack, you guys see Dot Hack is back? Like, what is going on? There's just so much stuff. Even now, this month, what, it's February, right? We're meant to have a new Madoka movie out by now, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's definitely meant to be out this month, if not out already, but they keep delaying it again and again. So, you know, and Madoka was another thing that greatly inspired me for a lot of the same reasons that Evangelion inspired me, and Drakengard and Nier and so on. So it's a really good year. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot, Ghost in the Shell is back, and the animation, oh my god, I need to stop, because we're about to turn this into a channel where I'm going to start dropping news and reporting about a million and one different things, and I don't know if you guys are ready for all that. I don't know if I'm ready for that, so it's probably not going to happen. I mean, I don't even know how we got to the point where I dropped 3 videos in 3 days. That doesn't even compute for me anymore. I think the last time I did that was at the very beginning of when I started making this type of content, when I was dropping some of my earliest Kingdom Hearts theories. But other than that, I've never done 3 videos within 3 days. That's that's not been a thing for a long time. And yeah, it's probably not gonna happen again. Now that I've just dropped 3 videos back to back, more than likely you guys will not be seeing anything from me for at least a few months. I mean, come on now, I'm doing overtime here, you know what I mean? This is a bit much. So you're probably not going to see any more Evangelion videos from me until this show drops, and when it does, I will definitely be sharing my thoughts on it. But until then, my name is NextGenNovelist, and that's all I've got to say, and I'm out. Peace.